Okay, next, to actually show you the technology, to deep dive into the technology, I'd like to invite Bhagat, our Chief Product Officer and Chief Engineering Officer, up on stage to walk you through. Bhagat, please join us.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. That was fun. So good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. First, I'd like to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you. You have been co-creators at every step of our journey, and everything you see is to some extent shaped by your ideas and feedback. Now, Adam just talked to you about how we are enabling the agentic enterprise. In the next few minutes, I'll go into the details of the capabilities of the platform that make this possible. For agents to succeed in the enterprise, they need three things. They need access to enterprise data and context so that they can make the right decisions. They need orchestration so that you can automate core business processes. And they need to be trusted so that you can authorize them to act on your behalf and work against business applications. And only Workato brings all of these together in one unified platform. One runtime that is auto-scaling, always on, and requires no DevOps on your part. One design experience for processes, agents, workflows, and unified governance across any artifact that you create on the platform. Over the last year, we've added more than 700 feature updates across the board, different parts of the platform. We have unlocked enterprise expansion in 3 different ways. We've expanded the breadth of orchestration capabilities to basically allow you to integrate everything and automate anything that you'd like within the enterprise. We wanted to provide you tools and controls to manage Workato assets at scale as you deploy them globally. And we have expanded our footprint across the world in many different data centers, different types of deployment models, different types of flexibility in how you configure the network and how you configure your applications to connect with Workato. I'll call out a few of the features that we have added in the last year. Start with intelligent document processing. This is one of the fastest growing capabilities on the platform. What this allows you to do is intelligently extract business critical information from standard documents such as invoices, purchase orders, receipts, government issued IDs. We can extract this business critical information and you can use it in document processing workflows. All of this without any training needed. It uses a combination of AI and OCR techniques, and you can provide documents in many different languages. We have customers processing thousands of documents per day with over 95% accuracy with this new capability. Now, we just talked about AI and agentic workloads. A lot of these workloads need up-to-date data in data warehouses. With data pipeline recipes, now we can move millions and billions of objects from business applications like Salesforce, NetSuite, into cloud data warehouses like Databricks, Snowflake. And all of this is done at scale while handling things like parallel transmission of objects, duplicate handling, schema drift, all with end-to-end monitoring and observability. We also added a new type of asset called decision models. This is for business rules and policies. A lot of time you have policies that are embedded inside business processes. For example, if you're doing a quote approval, there are policies on who needs to approve based on the conditions in the quote. Or you're doing a purchase order review, there are different approvers needed depending on the conditions in the purchase order. All of these policies were previously embedded inside the process. With decision models and decision graph, now these can be managed by business users and they are stored outside the process. We provide a simple Excel-like interface to model these decision tables and then they can be reused from business processes or genies or our agents. We've also added a brand new agent studio. In the last few months, we've talked to many customers, and what we heard was a very common theme. They know their business process, but it was still hard to build agents using a different combination of tools, one to build, another one to test, and another one to secure them. With Agent Studio, our goal was very simple. If you know your business process, you should be able to build a genie. We call our agents genies. And the way you build them is you start with the goal, what you wanted to accomplish. You provided a job description, what it should do, how it should behave, what actions it should perform, what it should never do. And then you provide KPIs on how you're going to measure the performance of this genie. Then you empower it with skills. Skills can be things like how to respond to a customer email, how to process an invoice, how to look up order details in NetSuite. Then you provided access to enterprise knowledge. This can be data stored in Google Drive, it can be in SharePoint. After that, you're ready to bring sample data and sample conversations and test out the genie, all within the same environment. Once you do that, you're ready to go. These genies can interact with you in collaboration tools like Slack, Teams, or Workato Go, or they can work completely autonomously. They can be listening to events and business applications and take actions on your behalf and bring them to your attention only when needed. So these genies, they remember history, they have context, they reason, they plan a course of action, and then they use skills to get the job done. Since it's all running on the Workato platform, they're pre-wired for governance and scale. So it's a super productive environment to build agents. Now, how do all of us make better decisions? We do that by having right knowledge, right context. Our genies work the same way. And the way you bring this enterprise knowledge and context to genies is via our knowledge bases. Your enterprise knowledge may be in different stores. They could be in applications like Salesforce, NetSuite, ServiceNow. It could be in corporate data stores like Google Drive, Confluence, SharePoint, or they could be in data lakes. We have native crawlers that bring information from all of these sources into the knowledge base. And if the native crawlers don't work, you can use our thousands of connectors and knowledge recipes to bring information into the knowledge base. Once this information is in the knowledge base, we make sense of this. We apply a taxonomy. We identify relationships. We create embeddings. We normalize the permission model. And all of this allows us to create a rich knowledge graph. This knowledge graph, which is constantly evolving and updated, is then used to power the semantic search in Workato Go. It's also used for agentic RAG, retrieval augmented generation. And it allows federated queries and data virtualization. So with our knowledge bases, our genies don't guess. They know. They know because they have access to the relevant data to make the right decisions. Now, just having access to knowledge is not sufficient. You also want to be able to take action. In fact, every CIO I talk to tells me that they'd like their agents to do more. Many of the agents deployed today are knowledge retrieval agents. They are not sure if they can trust them to take actions against their business applications. This is because they are missing a secure and flexible orchestration layer that allows them to reliably connect these agents to business applications. We have been the leaders in enterprise orchestration for many years now. The way we bring the power of enterprise orchestration to these genies is via enterprise skills. Think of some of the things that your genies might be asked to do. Maybe they have to retrieve information from an invoice and post it to NetSuite. Maybe the genie has to get some IoT signals and then create a maintenance work order in SAP. Or it may be responding to an EDI 850 document, extract details, validate it, and then create a purchase order. Now, these are not simple API calls or tool calls that you see in many other agentic frameworks or agentic products. These are battle-tested, durable, repeatable operations that you can consistently and reliably perform against your business applications. These are enterprise skills. And as Adam mentioned, we have thousands and thousands of these that we make available that can be reliably used to access your business applications. And the way you build these skills is all of the orchestration capabilities that you're very familiar with. Our API recipes, process automation, data integration, all of these capabilities in Workato can help you build these skills. So enterprise skills is what gives your agents the power to act responsibly. So you can securely connect your agents to business applications and be guaranteed that they will perform the same operation deterministically every time. Now let's talk about enterprise MCP. Adam talked about why MCP is so popular. It's probably the most common term you hear in any agentic conversation. Typically, applications have exposed their services using APIs. And then those APIs are published in a developer portal. A user gets access to the developer portal, gets the API keys, then invokes those APIs using client libraries or the right code. But agents work differently. Agents automatically discover the tools they need, and then they know how to invoke them and parse responses. And this is where MCP comes in. It's a very powerful protocol for enabling this. But here's the challenge with a lot of MCP servers out there today. First, number of them are API wrappers. So they are not actually fit for purpose. So the agents have to do a lot of work to actually figure out how to use those MCP servers to get the job done. Second, many of these MCP servers are directly connected to these large language models without any security or control. This has become a governance and compliance nightmare for many CIOs. With Workato Enterprise MCP, we solve both of those problems. We provide a no-code MCP composer, which allows you to build these fit-for-purpose MCP servers. So for example, let's say you have lots of tables in Snowflake, and you want to make product usage data available to an agent. You can create an MCP server that gives access to just that set of data to these agents. Or for example, you have an SAP system and you don't want to give access to all of that system to the agent. You just want to look up inventory levels. You can create an MCP server that only gets access to that inventory information from SAP, all without writing any code. Then at runtime, we add governance, observability, and traffic control. So standard policies like rate limiting, quotas, scoped access, authorization, all of the capabilities that you're very familiar with in our recipes and API management are now available for these enterprise MCP servers. So it's no longer a direct channel from these applications to the LLMs. It's a secure channel that connects all of these applications. So all of the 900,000 skills that Adam mentioned and the 12,000 plus connectors are all secured by this channel. So it's governed capability sharing. And only Workato makes MCP enterprise ready. So now you can give your agents the power they need, but apply the security and governance that your organization requires. Now, all of us work in teams to handle complex tasks. Agents work the same way. Let's say you were handling a customer support agent was trying to process a refund. That customer process agent may have to talk to an order processing agent to get the details of the order. It may need to talk to an RMA agent to understand the return conditions. And then it may talk to a payment agent to actually process the refund. With our agent orchestration capabilities, we support this and many other patterns. You can have agents that work sequentially, agents that can distribute work, or they can hand off tasks to other agents. We support agent collaboration amongst the agents that are built on Workato, and very soon we will be adding A2A support to support third-party agents as well. Now, I'm sure all of you will agree that none of your agents will ever go from pilot to production unless they can guarantee security and governance. Now, we've always had industry-leading data privacy, encryption, and security capabilities in the platform. And we have now further enhanced that for agents. For example, with Agent Auth, when an agent interacts with the business application, it always authorizes on behalf of the end user. No shared connections, no service accounts, always authorizes on behalf of the end user. Similarly, when agents access knowledge from the knowledge base, where you have crawled information from across the enterprise, it uses the permission model of the end system. So the same authorization that the user has on the end system is applied when that agent accesses the knowledge base. So the same privacy and controls are maintained even when the agents are looking at a shared enterprise knowledge store. Also, agents can be configured to bring in human in the loop for additional authorization or approvals. We also have end-to-end explainability and observability. So the full chain of thought of the agent, what did the LLM return, what knowledge retrieval happened, what skills were called, all of that end-to-end traceability is available for all of the conversations that these agents perform. So now you can securely and reliably deploy agents across your enterprise and put in all the guardrails that you would apply for any process automation. The same can be applied to any of the agents as well. Now we'll show you a quick demo, but before that, I'd like to make one announcement. Last year at this conference, we had promised that we will support Workato in Japanese coming this year. I'm happy to announce that we now support Workato Builder UI and Workato Go in Japanese and 7 other languages. With that, I'd like to invite my colleague Kimura-san on stage to show you a quick demo of the Agent Studio.
Thank you so much, Bhagat さん。皆さんこんにちは。ソリューションコンサルタントの木村です。ここから日本語でエージェントスタジオのデモをご説明いたします。こちらがエージェントスタジオでジーニーを作っていく初期画面になっております。左側にシナリオの、ジーニーのテンプレートがございまして、リーガルのジーニーですとか、標語分析のジーニーなどがございまして、それぞれスキルが事前定義されております。皆様、コネクションを貼っていただくだけですぐにジーニーを活用することが可能となっております。今回は1から IT ヘルプデスクの効率化をテーマにしてジーニーを作っていきたいと思います。ジーニーに何を手伝ってほしいのか、どのプロジェクトにそのジーニーを格納するのかを選んで構築を開始します。そうしますと、 このインプットをベースにして G2 の役割、守備範囲を定義しているジョブディスクリプションが自動生成されてきます。こちらは今英語となっておりますが、今後日本語での生成にも対応される予定です。さて、エージェンティック AI を考える上では他にも重要な要素がございます。LLM、頭脳です。UI、ユーザーとのインタラクションです。そしてエンタープライズコンテキストとアクションです。それぞれ見ていきます。まず G2 の LLM に関してなんですけれども、アンソロピックのクラウドと OpenAI の GPT に対応しております。チャットインターフェースに関しては Slack、Teams、Workato Workato の提供する UI ですねに対応しております。で、ここからアクションです。スキルを追加していきます。レシピをベースにしたエンタープライズスキルを選択することが可能でして、ここでは Jira のチケット作成を選択していきます。次がコンテキストですね。ナレッジベースを追加していきます。Workatoのエージェントスタジオでは、Workatoが接続できる文章はすべてエージェントの事前知識として定義することが可能です。例えば、コンフルエンスで IT の対応プロセスをナレッジベースとして貯めている。こういった形式値を事前知識としてインプットできますし、さらに日々のやり取りは Slack のチャンネルでやり取りしている。こういった暗黙値もインプットできますし、もちろんWorkatoが接続できるという意味では、オンプレのアセットっていうものも事前知識として定義することが可能です。そういった設定をしたG2で実際にどう動くかっていうところを見ていきたいと思います。編集画面の上にはテストモードということがございます。テストモードに切り替えていただきますと、左側によくあるテストシナリオを設けることができまして、今回は FAQ を設けています。一例として、Salesforceに接続できませんというものを G2 に問い合わせしています。そうしますと、右側には G2 との会話のログが可視化されてきます。LLM にどのようなインプットを投げたのか、ナレッジベースからどのようなアウトプットを受け取ったのかを確認することができます。AI 活用において可観測性と説明可能性が重要なことは皆様ご周知の通りかとございますが、Workatoのエージェントスタジオではそれら全てをトラックすることができます。さて、G2 からの返答を見ていきますと、こちらにはコンフルエンスのナレッジベースに記載の通りのプロセス、かつSalesforceのアカウントがロックされているかどうかというところまで確認してくれています。IT チケットを作成してみましょう。IT チケットの作成をお願いしますと送ってみます。そうしますと、裏側では先ほど定義したエンタープライズスキルが起動しまして、チケットの作成を行っていきます。LLM 活用がただのインタラクションで止まってしまう。これは真の AI 活用ではないと考えています。G にはこういった形で得たコンテキストからのアクション実行までを実現していきます。さて、今構築したプロセスっていうのは必ずしも人が介在する必要はないのではないかなとも考えられます。Workatoの G にはアプリケーションのイベントをキーにしてエージェントを起動するっていったことも可能となっておりまして、ここでは Salesforce でアカウントがロックされたっていうところを検知して G2 が起動するシナリオも定義しています。さらに先ほどのキーノートの中ではエージェンティック AI を考える上でコアの KPI が非常に重要だというお話がありました。Workatoの G2 には KPI を持たせることが可能です。ここでは例として課題解決までのリードタイムという KPI を持たせています。Workatoの Go を UI と設定していただきますと、Workatoの Go の UI からですね、この KPI をメトリクスを指定した上でどのような状態になっているかっていうところも可視化することができます。ブレイクアウトセッションですとかブースとかでぜひご関心ある方ご質問いただければと思います。一旦エージェントスタジオのデモは以上とさせていただきますので、バガットにお返しします。ありがとうございました。
Thank you, Kimura-san. So when it comes to the build experience, we've had three main design goals. We want you to do more on the same platform, whether it be APIs, automation, agents, workflows. We want you to get more done, so faster time to value for any project that you create. And we want to empower more people, whether they be in business, whether they be in IT, to build processes and agents. We now have more than 700,000 builders on the platform. Around 53% of them come from IT functions, IT, BT functions. The remaining are from business functions, like customer experience, marketing, finance. And all of this was possible because of the AI-assisted low-code, no-code experience of the platform. And we've been further enhancing that. Last couple of years, we have added many co-pilots. Co-pilots to help you sketch ideas, co-pilots for recipes, co-pilots for formulas, co-pilot to create connectors. And we saw a significant improvement in productivity. In fact, for the same process, we saw around 38% improvement in productivity. But we also got feedback that these co-pilots were very narrow. They were performing discrete tasks, and they did not have the full context of what you were trying to achieve, did not understand the end-to-end process. So now we are fixing that. We are introducing 2 new agents built into the platform itself. Workato Airo, solution architect agent, and Workato Acumen, a data scientist agent. Airo for builders to help you build and manage your workflows, your agents, and Acumen for insights and optimization. Airo works differently from the co-pilots. It has much more context. It knows you, it knows your role, it knows what you have built before, what permissions you have. It knows your workspace, what assets exist in the workspace, what content it can reuse, and what are the best practices. It understands your company's policies, so you can load standard operating procedures, your best practices. It has an inbuilt knowledge of the industry best practices. So for example, it understands hire to retire in Workday or design to operate in SAP. And it knows how to use Workato best, how to use Workato best to actually get the job done. So when you use Airo, it takes a different approach. It starts with a goal in mind. So it has a goal, and it tries to understand what outcome you're trying to achieve. And you can provide that either by using vibe coding, by chatting with it, or you can provide a requirements document. And then Airo starts to think like a solution architect. It breaks down the problem, creates a blueprint of the end-to-end solution. Once you agree on the blueprint, then it creates an asset map of what are the different assets it needs. So traditionally, when you're using Workato, you need to know when to use recipes, when to use functions, when to use data tables. With Airo, you don't need to do that. It does it for you. It determines what types of assets in Workato need to be created. And then once it has created that blueprint, it uses a set of sub-agents that are also built into the product to actually generate those artifacts, whether it be agents, whether it be skills, whether it be recipes. And not only the build part, it actually also helps you later on in managing those artifacts. So once the recipes are deployed, you could ask questions like, which workflows will be affected if I change this Salesforce connection? Or you could say, add this finance ops tag to all of these recipes in a particular folder. Or you could ask, okay, how many rows are in my data table? So it helps you not just during the build phase, but also later on in the life cycle. Now, building the process is just the first step. Your teams are constantly improving and evolving these processes. But to improve, you need to first measure and then figure out what to optimize. So last year, we had added a new capability called Workato Insights. With Workato Insights, you could get job processing data, figure out success rate, failure rate, how much time a particular job is taking. You could also get business process data. So you could configure it to get details on how much time is taking to onboard an employee, or what is the order cycle time. And you could do ROI metrics. The feedback we heard was that analytics is great, but we want to do less manual work. With Workato Acumen, we are addressing that. With Workato Acumen, you have an agent that's monitoring your business processes 24/7. So you just provide the KPIs, and then it starts to monitor these processes. It will detect anomalies, to look at the trends. It will figure out where it needs to flag those issues for you to take action. For example, if a recipe is silently failing, or a process is taking longer than expected, or an agent is underperforming. All of these get flagged by Acumen. The action board you saw earlier with the agent KPIs are all powered by Acumen in the background. And more importantly, it does all of this live in your environment. So you don't have to extract the data, move it to a data warehouse, do ML pipelines, and then create BI dashboards. It is doing all of this live analytics all within your environment. So with Acumen, you just provide the KPIs, and it does the rest. Now to show you this in action, I'd like to invite Kimura-san again to the stage to show you a quick demo.
バガットさんありがとうございます。再度私からアイロとアキュメンのデモについてご紹介いたします。こちらが新しいWorkatoのホーム画面です。中央にあるのがアイロ、ソリューションアーキテクトエージェントです。今回は従業員のオンボーディングのワークフローの自動化をテーマにアイロを使ってみます。要件定義書をアップロードしまして、この要件を実現してくれとアイロにお願いしてみます。そうしますと、この文章の解析をアイロが始めますので、少し要件定義書について見ていきましょう。多くのプロジェクトでは要件定義フェーズがあり、実現化フェーズがあると思います。要件定義の後に実現化フェーズっていうところが一番時間がかかってくる大変な課題となってくるかと思いますけれども、そこを解決していくのがアイロです。今回のオンボーディングでは部門間の調整で非常に時間がかかってしまっている、そういった課題をどう自動化のワークフローに落とし込んでいくのか、そこをアイロで解決していきます。少しアイロの画面に戻って今の解析状況を見ていきましょう。作ったアセットの保存先のプロジェクトを指定してくれと言われているので、今回オンボーディング自動化のプロジェクトを指定しまして、再度解析が続きますので、もう一度要件定義書に戻っていきたいと思います。要件定義書には課題点ですとか、どのようなアプリケーション、オブジェクトと連携していくのか、そしてアーキテクチャー図が含まれています。実際にこの複雑なアーキテクチャー図を見て、これを実現していくのって非常に大変です。これを読み込んでアセット間の依存関係を調べてですね、それをWorkatoのレシピですとか、アセットに落とし込むのは数日かかることさえあります。これをアイロは解決してくれるのです。解析結果をアイロが返してくれています。この結果から、この要件からどのような論理的なサブプロセスが必要かっていうことをアイロが教えてくれています。見てみて問題なければルックスグッドを押していきます。ここで重要なのは、一旦この要件文章をどのように理解したのかっていうことを我々に確認してくれるということです。つまり我々が介在することによって、ここで理解が誤っているところがあればやり直すことができるんです。ここから実際のアセットのマップっていうものをアイロが作ってくれています。先ほど理解したサブプロセスをベースにして、どのようなレシピ関数、API エンドポイント、ひいては Genie まで必要かっていうところをアイロがドラフトを作ってくれていますと。で、このプロジェクトの中でそれぞれのアセットがどのような位置づけにあるのかっていうところはクリックすると見ることができますし、それぞれのアセット自体はですね、実際にここからワンクリックで構築していくことも可能となっております。これがアイロが実現しているものです。意図をベースにしてアセットを作ってくれます。さて、ここから実際に構築したものが本番環境でちゃんと動いているのか、それを確かめていきたい。そこで登場するのがアキュメンです。アキュメンはアイロの下にですね、異常を検知したものを通知してくれています。この図では新入社員のワークフローの中で動くべきジョブが動いていないということの異常を教えてくれています。インベスケートホワイということで深掘りをしていきますと、アキュメンが結果を返してくれています。アキュメンの回答が返ってきまして、そちらを確認すると、どうやら上流のサブプロセスっていうところに何らか問題があるのではないかと言われています。過去にも同じような事象があったのかどうかっていうのを聞いてみます。そうしますと、アキュメンが過去にも同様のパターンがあってですね、どうやら上流のシステムでイベントが起こっていない可能性があるんではないか。なので、ここからさらなる調査が必要だっていう回答をしてくれていますと。こういった形でですね、問題の深掘りっていうところを対応してくれるのはアキュメンです。 でこれまでご説明したアイロとアキュメンがあることによってアイロで実現したアセットっていうのをアキュメンで修正していく。で修正して得られた示唆をベースにアイロでまたフローを構築していく、このクローズドループが実現することが可能となっています。これが未来の、エンタープライズオーケストレーションです。この機能を用いて皆様が今後どのような価値を実現していくのかというところは非常に楽しみですし、これを使うことによってですね、どういったものを作っていくのか、どう作るのかではなくて、どう課題を解決していくのかというところにフォーカスして皆さんも業務を進められる未来が来るんではないかなと考えています。以上で私のパートは以上とさせていただきます。ありがとうございました。
Thank you, Kimura-san. So before we close, I'm happy to share that we'll be launching Agentic in the Japan data center in Workato in January of next year. So if you'd like to sign up, please talk to your account executive and they will get you access to the beta program in January. Now, as we discussed, only Workato brings together enterprise context, end-to-end process orchestration, and trusted agents in one unified platform. Thank you for your time today.
一度大きな拍手を受けてください。ありがとうございました。